Dude, are you right?
Nah, I'm just beat. I had the worst week.
You want a mint?
Why would I want a mint?
Here, have a mint.
You know what? I'll take a mint.
What the hell? What's the worst that can happen? Now that's an idea. We're going fishing.
All right, guys, I'm in the need of a win. I need a quick project just to get my mind straight. Maybe do some fishing or something. So I was online the other day, and I remembered seeing these back in the day. Altoid fishing kits. It's just a little fishing kit that fits in an Altoids tin. A lot of times it's a survival fishing kit or something like that, and I've gone down that rabbit hole once before, and it seems like every time I build a survival fishing kit or survival anything, it just something that makes fishing harder than it really needs to be, just for the sake of putting a bunch of stuff in a little bitty container. So not really interested in that. So I was wondering if I can do a micro fishing kit for stuff that how I normally fish. So no real compromises, just the way I normally fish. Not a bunch of random crap thrown in an Altoids tin that works good for fishing if, that's all you got. So I was on Google here, and let me show you a couple of examples. See, they have something like this that have the 3D printed insert or whatever, which is really cool. I like that idea. And then stuff like this, which I like the ability to have line, but if you've ever fished or used mono, when you put line like this, it kinks up right here at these edges and it forms a memory, and it's just a nightmare to fish with when you do that. But it's super compact, and it's an easy way of carrying line that way. So the other ones, I mean, a lot of times they just kind of look like this. That was not a good idea. This one has a little bit of a bobbin or something to wind the spool around, the line around. So I like the idea, like this. This is cool, but if you're trying to actually fish with this, like more of an EDC kind of fish, just throw in the bag, it's always in the vehicle kind of thing. This line has a memory, and that's going to suck the fish with, but all this extra stuff in here, it's just, you have to dig through it to get what you want. And these tins are so small that it's not real, practical. So you're like, this is kind of cool. See, this has it all separated out into different compartments or whatever. I like that idea. See what else they got. And then they have these, where it's 3D printed and it has a upper and lower tackle box section. I really like that idea. I think by using these little pillars right here to get the tackle box to go up and down, you do lose some space, but it kind of all depends on what fishing stuff you normally have. So like I can get that file and I can print it out, and then I'm gonna have to find fishing stuff that fits in it, but that's not necessarily like what I normally would use anyway. So what I wanted to do is just take the stuff I normally use without much of a compromise, and just see if I can get it to fit into the Altoids tin, which means I'm probably gonna just print out my own inserts or something out of plastic, 3D print the inserts myself, which I don't think that's as big of a deal. So let me show you. This is what I normally fish with, and this is just what I leave in the car, what I almost always have with me kind of fishing kit. But this is a bobber fishing kit. I use slip bobbers, so the bobbers are there. I use this Molly pack, and it just has a little belt clip, so I can just walk around with that. That's not a big deal. It has some pliers. It has my slip bobbers, and then it has the beads, the hooks, the split shot, and then it has the little inserts you use for night fishing. The little dang, what are those called? Glow sticks, mini glow sticks. They go on the bobbers so you can night fish with it. That's pretty much all this is. It's just a multiple of it. So what I came up with, so I got the Altoids. I came up with this insert. So there's a little bit of, came up with this insert. So this would go in here. So this is a tight fit, so it doesn't really come in and out very easy. But that's how it goes. It can't come out, it's stuck in there. So this, and then I was able to find slip bobbers that are actually the same size float as the slip bobbers I normally use, or very similar to size. Not too far off. They just don't have a long post. So these fit perfectly. Well, this was made for them to fit perfectly. So 3 bobbers there, and then I can get the beads, the stops, the bobber stop, knots, all on that one. So that's pretty good. And they have a ramped around it to where it's easy for me to get the stuff out. So from there, split shot. Go a little bit more. And the idea behind this is that you basically have enough tackle to get you a few hours of fishing. So it's not a full tackle box, it's not a weekend trip, it's just a couple hours when you get a chance. So the quantities of stuff is going to be lower because of that. And I have 3 different size hooks. A number 2, number 4, and number 6 of the bait holder hooks. And these are the ones I normally get anyway, because typically with a slip bobber, you can see the bait holder. They have little barbs that hold the bait. But typically with the slip bobber, I'm using a worm. So these help, these hold worms out and pretty good. So just live bait kind of thing. So I'll go 3 different sizes in there. I don't typically use a number 2. I typically use a 4 and a 6, but it gives you a little bit more options if you had it. When I designed this, I actually designed it for 2 different size hooks. So the bigger hook here and the smaller hooks here, but I completely forgot about the split shot. So this could probably be redesigned to be a little bit more efficient when it comes to the hooks, separating them out, but chances are it's not going to be. So this is where we lie. 3 of the bobbers, everything's set up, closed, some shake. Everything's still in the same spot. That's slip bobber. We've used, actually we just used this one at Bikini Falls to do trout fishing. I did stock trout over there. We used it for bluegill, we used it for channel cat. It's pretty universal. So we'll go with that So that's that one. My other type of fishing that I do quite a bit is just bottom fishing. Let's get this stuff out of the way. So I came up with a different design for that. Haven't opened this one yet. My bottom fishing, it's normally like it's like a Carolina rig, a sliding weight. With a leader and a circle hook. It's typically how I do it. And I use this for gar, bigger catfish, saltwater fishing. You could do a double leader, double drop, or something like that. So this one's universal too. And the other one I use quite a bit. So with this one, I designed a half size to go on the bottom, half size tray. So these are tight. Half size tray. And this fits the weights I use for the Carolina. I use these flat ones for creek, saltwater, something that has a current but not a crazy current, because these don't roll. They're no roll sinkers. So that's why I use these. Typically saltwater will use a pyramid or a spider weight if you're doing from the beach. But I've used these before on the beach for whiting, bait fish, stuff like that, and they seem to work fine. They're not ideal, but they seem to work fine. So from there, I got number 5 and number 6 circle hooks. I typically only use circle hooks for this style rig, because I find that if you're leaving a standard hook, by the time you get to the rod and realize you got a fish, they typically swallow the hook. And you can upgrade your, upsize the hook to where you're not getting the fish to swallow, but then you're missing out on smaller fish that the hook is too big for. So I typically use smaller hooks just to keep me, where we're catching something. Sometimes you just need that win where something's better than nothing and you just want to actually catch something. It doesn't have to be a trophy all the time. So there we are with the first layer. 1 ounce weights, 2 ounce weights, and 2 different size hooks. So we're talking about the holding the line and wrapping the line around something or whatever to keep a leader, keep whatever, as we're looking at the other Altoid tins. And I said that it keeps a memory when you do that. So I designed this one to try to get a line in here that might not hold as much of a memory as a hard edge. So for an example, if you take this insert and you wrap it here like this, right here, these edges are what are going to have a kink and it's going to have a memory to it. So my idea was, what if I print this spacer, you can see, that has a wind inside of it, an area to wind up the line underneath, within it. So that way it's all round, smooth. You know, it doesn't have any hard edges, anything like that. I haven't spooled this up yet, so I don't know how well this is going to work, but this is at least the idea. So let's see if we can get it. I'm using 30 pound? Yeah, 30 pound mono. And you can see even on a spool, it has a memory. And that's what line normally comes in. So we're just gonna spool. And with the normal kit that I use for creek fishing, stuff like that, I normally just take a bunch of pre-tied leaders, and that way, you know, when I lose a leader, I'm just put another leader on with another circle hook. So it's usually all pre-tied. But given the constraints of the Altoid tin, that's kind of hard to do. So I figured this was going to be the next best step. They're not very hard to tie. They tie pretty easily. I'm not doing any crazy special knots or anything to get them. My other idea, and I don't know if I'll be able to make it work, I thought it'd be cool to take this spool and do half a leader and half bank line. So they're side by side, to where if I catch anything of eating size or whatever and I actually didn't want to keep it, I could just use the bank line to make a stringer, and that way everything is within this. I don't know if I can make it work because the spool is already really narrow here and I don't have any extra room. You'll see as soon as I put it in there, it's a fit. There's no extra wiggle room in this thing. But it might be something I play with in the future. Okay, so we're going to end it here. And let's see if we can use this hair tie to hold the line from unspooling. Nope. Hey, that works pretty good, and you can still undo it. Okay. So that goes in. There's not a lot of room there. And then swivels. Because I use swivels to attach the hook leader to the main line that has the weight on it. So swivels go in there. Here we go. I mean, you gotta kind of admit, that's kind of neat. I don't know, I like it. So you're at your spot, you can hold it in one hand, you can grab what you need. If you can grab it, there he goes. So you don't have to dig through a bunch of different things to figure out what you need. These, I think typically there'll only be two in there because this one would already be on the rod. But it does fit the third. I don't know, what do y'all think? Cool, not cool? Did I improve on the design of the fishing kits? Or did I just overcomplicate everything? I typically overcomplicate everything. All right, let's try a couple new spots. See if we can actually catch anything with these. All right, guys, looks like we got one. We've been out here, maybe 5-6 minutes.
it is. A little cat. There you go. Not bad size.